Hello, you guys, and thank y'all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Journey Podcast, where I am your host, Kiera. It is always so amazing to hang out and spend time with you guys. I did miss you guys last week, but I was having some issues with my throat and being able to talk, and so as I was trying to push through a full episode or even a little piece of an episode, it was just challenging for me. And God is still good, and I am here now, and I have my voice back, so I'm grateful for that. I hope that you guys had an amazing spring break. Because I did. Had a good time. Take me back to spring break. It was so good, and so yeah, that's all with that. Again, I'm grateful to be in your presence again. We're gonna go ahead and just dive into today's episode. I want to talk about how we spend so much time talking about what's next, like the next goal, the next level, the next version of ourselves, and things like that. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with vision. Nothing wrong at all with vision because vision is necessary. It keeps us moving. It keeps us like on a path, you know. Um, but what I've been thinking about lately, like what's just been on my mind a lot, I think, for at least more than half of my trip on spring break, I was just thinking about the next podcast topic. And well, I wasn't really thinking about the next podcast topic. I was just thinking and I was like, dang, what about how we're navigating through, like how am I really like navigating through right now? And I was thinking about all the things and how I was just really just struggling to find peace in knowing that God is still good, um, because He is. And so, but the me just being human, um, and going through all the things that I've been through in life, one of my love languages has easily become a reassurance. Like I need reassurance from I need reassurance from Jesus, okay? And so if you talk to me a lot, you'll hear that I say God is so good, because I love the reassurance that I need. I don't need God to just directly do something for me, but seeing Him work in others' lives reminds me that He is still good and that He is still working and that He's still a miracle worker and things like that. And so I just find myself just needing that a lot. Um, and so I just was like, what about right now? Like we are always focusing on the vision. But right now it's just kind of the topic just gets neglected. Um, what about the part of the journey where you know where you want to be, but you're not there yet? And so it's like, so it's just like this is space in the middle, like the in between. That where we're living in, you know. So like, how are we navigating through that? And if I'm being honest, that's also where that's where I struggle, for sure. That's the hardest part. That's been the hardest part of each journey for me. It's not really so much starting, which don't get me wrong, starting a journey does have its challenges. Um, but the staying on the journey part, that is the part that's hard because here you are, you're learning this new version of yourself. You're learning to navigate through this new lifestyle that you've adopted and so forth. And so here it is, it's like, how do I do this? And sometimes it's even questioning yourself. I've questioned myself. Um, like, am I even really supposed to be doing this? I'll start something and say, am I supposed to be doing this? And I'll get distracted by other opportunities and things like that. And sometimes even comparison. You see somebody else further along in their journey, and be like, man, like how they hurt, it looked like they just started. However, you don't know how many times they started. So that space in the middle is the hard part to get through. Um, like I said, again, that's where I struggle. So that right now can feel slow. Um, I also love things done on my time, and so I'm learning in this time to trust God's timing, to trust His plan for me, and trust that He will provide me with exactly what I need when I need it, and there is no rush. There's no rush, and so I'm learning to trust God's timing. um, um, because like I said, in that right now, it doesn't always feel good, and so I'm just learning also like, okay, whatever God, whatever you're doing right now, I'm just trusting that it's for a reason. Because I think in a previous episode I talked about how God gives us the tools that we need to navigate um through like to go to get to that endpoint, or to operate and function once we get to the endpoint. And so on the way, obtaining those tools is not always a pleasant encounter or a pleasant happening. Like, it's not always something good that happened where you got that tool, because maybe you're learning to be more and I'm just throwing this one out there. Maybe you're learning better financial discipline. So maybe you have to go broke, and and you like, oh, the devil is, but really God is showing you why it's important to be financially disciplined. And so um while you're confused and like, why is this happening to me? It's for a reason. So right now, the things that are happening right now are what's preparing you for that in destination. That way you're in the proper space, mentally, emotionally, financially, when you get to where God called you to be. And so um the right now, what it looks like is waking up every day with responsibilities, with pressure, with things that have to get done, while still carrying this vision in your heart, for something bigger, and still just being consistent and showing up and saying, you know what, God, I'm going to trust you right now, even though this part has not been easy. Um, like I said, we'll see people and we'll see things on social media, and it's like, oh man, look at them, and they're where we want to. There, it looks like they're where we want to be. However, we don't know what it took for them to get there. We don't know what route they took. We don't know if they trusted God or if they cheated their way there. And so, I'm learning to cherish and appreciate my right now, whatever that looks like, even though I may be confused in my right now, or I may be lost in my right now. I might not be happy with what's going on right now. It's preparing me for greater. It's preparing me for what's next. And so I'm learning to appreciate that. Um, Sometimes I'll ask my, like I said, sometimes I'll be so confused. I'm like, it's no way this is supposed to be happening. This is not supposed to be happening. Um, or am I not doing enough? Why am I not getting any results? And so, like I said, again, I'm learning to trust God's timing, um, and His plan. I'm learning just to be consistent. It's almost like, um, it's almost like a weight loss or gain journey. And so just because you went to the gym one or two times, that doesn't mean you're going to see results right away. Right? Oh, you just left the gym? Look at you, you got a whole six pack. No. You you have to work towards that. And that's the right now it looks like um looking for exercises and hopping from one machine to the other, being confused about what the workout plan should be, having an unstructured workout plan at first, um, looking over to see what somebody else is doing so that you can do it too, because their body is already where it needs to be. So it's just like, it's that is a perfect. I like that. That is a perfect um analogy. I really like that because um whether you're trying to gain or lose weight, when you go in the gym and you see people who already are body goals, you just like, how did they get there? And you're not there yet. And that's okay that you're not there yet. You don't know when they started, how long they've been doing it, how long they've been showing up, how you don't know that. And so you're not gonna leave the gym to that same day with the results that they have. You're just not. You got to do the work. So the right now looks like doing the work. The hard part, the part where you gotta do them crunches, you gotta break some sweat, break a sweat. excuse me. And so here you are, you're like, oh, I know where I'm going, but why does it feel like this? Like, why does it hurt right now? Why is it uncomfortable right now? Why is it not berries and cream, unicorns and rainbows? Because every journey is going to be different. And like I said, not everyone genuinely shares their journey with you. Sometimes people will be like, oh, yeah, I started off with nothing, but look at me now. Okay, what happened in between you starting off and right now? You know, there were some struggles, there were some failed um test trials and tactics that you tried that just didn't work. You had to get to know yourself, you had to change up some things about yourself, some of the decisions that you were making. And so that's a lot, especially when you're still having to show up for others and um you're still having to like be there for people. And I don't know. I don't know why I just can't, sometimes I just like I can't get it out. I think a lot of the time we romanticize what's next. Like we imagine that when we get there, wherever there is, everything's gonna be better immediately. Like, oh, I'm gonna feel and move more confidently. Um, I'm more secure. I'm more at peace, or whatever. But really, the truth is, if you don't learn how to be okay in your right now, next is not gonna fix that. You're not gonna ever be like okay. You're just gonna be like, like, because your next is gonna be another right now for you, and so here you are in the next, and it's like you're still operating out of confusion, operating out of unsurety, and things like that. And so we have to learn to be okay with right now, whether that looks good or bad. We have to just um find peace in knowing that God is preparing us for where we're supposed to be overall, and He's preparing us with the tools that we need, whether it's just having more patience, whether it's making better decisions, um, and so forth and so on, things like that. Maybe even your temperament needs to change before. So here you are continuously being tested, and now you're frustrated in your right now because why is all this stuff happening? This stuff is happening so that you can learn to deal with hard encounters better. Um, as we're operating out of a place of alignment, I really find peace in knowing that this journey has been what it's been for a reason. And so the things and people that I've lost and that I'm losing along the way, I'm finding instead of spending so much time grieving those things, I'm just saying, you know what, God, thank you for whatever reason for removing that or making that better, and so forth and so on. And like I said, it's hard sometimes to get through those things. I was talking to my friend. My friend is 59 years old, and he was telling me his story. He's gonna be on. I'm gonna get him to be on a podcast one day. He gonna be on here one day because we're gonna talk about. Listen, every time it don't matter how many times we talk about his journey, it still touches my heart because it's just like, dang, you've been through all that. And so he shared with me that at 59 years old, a lot of the people that he started off with, they're not there anymore, and he's also learning that um a lot of the things and people that he might have been able to hang out with before, they're just not, it's just not. And a lot of the decisions that he used to make, they're just no good anymore. And so seeing where he started and where he is now, it's just a blessing just to see like how far he's come, because in his right now he didn't see himself where he is, and it wasn't in the plans for him. And so um well, it wasn't in his plans for him. And so just seeing how good God has been to him, and just talking to him about it, it's been like it just kind of opened my eyes that as you are operating out of a space of alignment, there are going to be some people that you lose along the way. And you're going to wish, dang, I wish I would have met you sooner. However, Or I wish I would have had this opportunity sooner. However, had you had that opportunity, had you had that encounter sooner than the right now, then you wouldn't have been prepared, and that opportunity wouldn't have um it wouldn't have what am I trying to say? It would have served its purpose, because you probably would have fumbled it, You probably would have fumbled the person, you probably would have fumbled the opportunity or whatever the case may be. And so as we are learning to navigate through the right now, we just have to be grateful um for the situations and the encounters that God brings us to, so that we're just able to thrive in our new being, or what's next for us in a new version of ourselves. Just one second. And so I wanted today, like I wanted you to another thing I wanted to say is like the right now is where a lot of people give up. A lot of us struggle at. I struggle there, and like I said, I ask myself, am I supposed to be doing this? And and also we get discouraged, we get distracted, or whatever the case may be, because you have the power to navigate through this time. You do. Even though you think, oh, I'm not strong enough for this, I can't handle this, you are strong enough to handle it. God wouldn't bring you to it if He wasn't prepared to bring you through it. And so, your right now is where the real work happens. Not the glamorous work, not the stuff that gets posted all the time, but the quiet, consistent, sometimes uncomfortable work. The work that's hard, the work that's necessary. Is showing up when you don't feel like it. It's being disciplined, like we talked about discipline in the last episode. When nobody's watching, it's continuing even when you don't have the answers yet. And so, um, and let's be real, that part is exhausting. It's like, do I have to do this? It's a lot to carry for sure. In one season, it's a lot to carry. It's a lot when you don't know what's next. Um, because you're balancing a lot. You're trying to build something. You're trying to take care of your responsibilities. You're trying to be there for other people. And at the same time, you're trying to figure yourself out. Because here we are, we're learning this new version of ourselves that we've never known ourselves to be. We are learning to accept other people's response to who we're becoming, because they're used to that old version of ourselves and we're used to that old version. So here you are, um, worrying about how people are responding to this new you, and you're still trying to figure that person out, um and I think sometimes we put pressure on ourselves to have it all together in the middle of figuring it out. But truth is, this is this is our life, and this stage is the hard part, and we just have to face it. It's not going to be perfect. We have to accept the fact that it's not going to be perfect, and we're in a space where we're growing, and growth can sometimes feel like uncertainty, sorry. um it can feel like inconsistency sometimes. um it can feel like questioning yourself more than usual, like I said. um Sometimes I'm like, am I even supposed to be doing this? Because this is exhausting. And so sometimes that exhaustion makes you want to give up. I don't have to be exhausted. I can just go back to being comfortable. But nothing grows in your comfort zone. You're not going to, it's not, there's no growth there. You're not going to find any growth in your comfort zone. And so, because you're not who you used to be anymore, but you're still becoming who you're meant to be, and that in itself, that in between space of the old version of yourself and the actual new version of yourself, the part where you're doing the work, is, like I said, it's hard. I feel a little bit like I don't know, guys. I just feel like we have to do the work if we want to get there. The work is not going to be easy, but we have to be consistent, and we have to have discipline in doing it. Um, And like I said, right now might not be easy, but right now, the decisions that you're making, the people that you're allowing to have access to you, um, that all of those things are a mixture of you really getting to where and who you are believing God for yourself to be. And I think one of the biggest things we have to learn how to do is stop avoiding the right now. Don't give up in the right now. Because a lot of times we're uncomfortable just because of our circumstances, and we're uncomfortable because we're trying to escape those circumstances. We're trying to, like, oh, I gotta get out of this. But really, like I said, God is teaching us how to handle different situations, different encounters, how to process, how to respond better. Um, and so don't spend so much time trying to distract yourself, or overthink or jump from one idea to another, um, or make plans that you're not fully, like, that you're not going to execute, or try to stay busy, but not always intentional. And so it's like um, you're trying to avoid doing the work for real. Um, And if we're being honest, sometimes it's easier to think about the future than it is to think about the present. Sometimes it's easier than, well, you know what? This is my end goal, and that's what it's going to be. And so we're not going to get there if in the middle of starting and the end goal, if we're not focused, if we're so we're worrying about what people are so posting on social media, how somebody else is already there. um I'm learning so much in this time. I'm learning really to trust God with my right now, for real, because that's when when the Bible said lean not on your understanding, lean not on your own understanding. It's just like, hold on now, I got to understand. I gotta understand. But in reality, like I said, I'm learning really to just trust God's plan, whatever it is that's happening. I'm learning to trust that um He won't lead me or guide me in the wrong direction. And so I've been praying more in my right now. My relationship with God has gotten so much better than it's been, and so much deeper than it's been. Um I've just been I'm listen, y'all. When I say I'm doing the work, I'm doing the work, okay? And and sometimes doing the work, the the outcome of it looks like chaos sometimes. Sometimes it looks like confusion. Like, oh my God, what's happening? But if you want to grow, if you want to move forward, you have to learn how to be present in your life, as it is right now. Not perfect, not finished, but real and present, and just soak up what right now looks like. Um, that doesn't mean settle for anything. It just means you accept where you are so you can actually move from it. Just, hey, you know what? It really is what it is. Because denial keeps you stuck. But awareness, that moves you forward. So when you're aware of where you are in the right now, it helps you to move forward. You don't want to be stuck there. You don't want that. You don't want that to be your forever. That's not the end goal. So you know that you have to keep moving. So yeah, it looks like focusing on what you can control today. The things that you can't control, it's no need to focus on that. Because what good is that going to do for you, you know? um you can't focus on the end, like, oh wow, this is where I'm supposed to be. You have to focus on right now, what you can control right now, and just process it, keep moving, don't get stuck, because a lot of times, like I said, we get stagnant. Your effort today, your mindset today, and your discipline today is what you need to focus on. What I need to focus on, because when you try to carry the weight of everything all at once, it just becomes overwhelming, and it kind of makes the journey, like, it makes it harder than it really even needs to be, for real. So it also looks like creating structure in your life, even when if it's something that's small. So, um, I was on Chat GPT and Chat was telling me um how really was reading me reading me down. Like it was like stop, just stop. I'm just kidding. And it was telling me like that I worry about too many things in a day's time, things that are out of my control, and that is so true. But when you focus, when you have that structure in your life, it gives you stability when everything else feels uncertain. You just have that stability now. And it keeps me for real, it keeps me grounded. Just focusing on the few things in today's time, not worrying about tomorrow. In the Bible it says don't worry about tomorrow because tomorrow will take care of itself. And so, just focus on today. Focus on right now. What's going on right now? Where are we right now? Um, Even though you don't have it all figured out yet, you just gotta keep moving. Gotta keep moving. And another thing, you have to stop measuring your progress based on how you feel. Just because it feels slow doesn't mean that it's slow. Um, just because it feels slow doesn't mean it's not happening, you know? Um, a lot of the time find ourselves, we want instant results. Okay, I made two better decisions. I need stuff to look, I need everything, but it's just like, you doing the work. Matter of fact, let's use going to the gym. I done been to the gym twice. Why I got a six pack? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. It's consistency. And so you focus on what you need to focus on for the day and you move forward and you continue being consistent and focusing on whatever it is that you're focusing on. And in due time, you'll see the results that you've been believing God for. And I'm not just talking about working out, guys. But just because it feels unclear doesn't mean you're not on the right path, you know? Growth doesn't always feel like growth while it's happening. Sometimes it just feels like repetition, like effort or showing up again and again and again. And that consistency is necessary. That repetition is what's going to build you. That's what's going to prepare you. And I want you to think about this. What if your right now isn't something to rush through? What if you need that slow and steady message? What if you need that repetition to happen? What are you learning in your right now that could contribute, that is gonna contribute to the end goal? Because the life you're working toward, it requires a certain version of you, and you just have to be that. You have to build that. It requires discipline, it requires patience, consistency, and emotional strength. And all of that is being built in your right now. And so maybe you're not behind. Maybe you're just being built. And I'm not speaking from a place of having it all figured out. I'm speaking from like actually living and being in it. Like I'm living in my right. Like this is actively what's going on in my life. um, and if you're in that space too, I just want you to know this. You don't have to have everything figured out right now. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to move at anyone else's pace. You don't have to compare yourself to anybody on social media. You just have to focus on yourself. You just have to show up every day, every time you are required to show up. Just keep showing up, and you don't have to. You don't have to do anything but be honest with yourself, um and be consistent even when it feels small, when it feels like, oh my god, this is not working out, because one day the life that you're working towards is going to require the version of you that you're becoming in your right now. And so don't rush it, don't avoid it, don't underestimate it, just grow through it. We got this, we can do this, we can do this. This is not a setback. These things that are happening are not setbacks. These are setups. These things are setting us up to handle what's next, and who's next, and who we're gonna be in next. That's just, it's gonna be a big thing. It's gonna be beautiful. We're gonna love it. And so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap today's episode up. I love you guys with my whole heart, per usual. I hope that this episode um, helped you in some way, and that if it does, that you share it with me. Share this episode with a friend, even if you know someone that needs um, just help with navigating through there right now. They're growing through something. Um, yeah. So again, I love you guys with my whole heart. I hope you guys enjoy what's left of the evening and that you have an amazing weekend. I can't wait to see you guys next week. See ya.